So what we're doing is something special. We are drilling water wells in Zimbabwe where people don't even know your name. You know, the government back home has basically neglected the infrastructure for the rural areas. And what we're doing is doing something that's just helping sustain people for centuries and decades.
Water is the basis of life everywhere, but especially in Africa. And so it helps with just the daily personal things as far as livestock goes, personal bathing, gardening, all the stuff that goes into just basic life in Zimbabwe starts with water.
So I go to Zimbabwe and I went back to the village that I grew up. So I'm thinking, okay, what can I do to help my family? And now my mom said, now it's time to go and fetch water. And it was 7 miles from the house. So we went there, but I realized that I needed change. So I started taking pictures, I started taking videos, and I remember what Jesse had said. He said, what can I do to help?
Somebody told me at that point when he said we need to do a borehole, a well, and I said, well, how much does that cost? And he said, you know, it's a little different, but about $6,000. And it was a life-changing moment because that was back when the plasma TVs were first coming out. I know they're cheap now, but back then they weren't. And it was about $6,000. I had just bought one, and he tells me that I could have spent that $6,000 on a borehole to help thousands of people in the village.
So far, we've drilled 17 wells, and those wells service over 40,000 people, Jim.
Having to coordinate services and figuring out which wells that our villages are appropriate to drill in and which ones are we're going to have the most benefit from our services that we can provide them fresh water. So that's one of the biggest challenges. And I think back here in the U.S., right here in Columbus, it's really the challenge of having dry wells when we go to drill and we are not successful, trying to keep our momentum up and trying to make sure that we don't get down on ourselves because we did not hit water. But we were very fortunate within the last 48 hours, we have drilled 2 successful wells.
Dude, look at that. Great
so
job.
we're super excited about that, and that has really lifted our spirits and keeps us going on the right track to continue to provide fresh water for folks who are in dire need of this service.
I'm in a business meeting for real estate, and I get this picture of this little tiny girl drinking water, and I just started bawling. I was like bawling. It was pretty life-changing. But the rest of our story was, at that point, it had come together so easy that we were like, why stop? We can do this.
And this is something we will do nonstop because we know how little work that really we put into it. Yes, it's hard and we need your help. But for little we do, how much of a big impact it's going to make for people's lives in Zimbabwe.
There's so many other requests that are coming our way. What can we do to continue that? We went on our 2nd well, we went on our 3rd well, and now we continue to drill clean water wells for people.